Hey, my spiritually savage family, how we doing today? This is Spiritually Savage coming at you today with just a little message. First, a question. Do you have an issue, problem with asking people for help? Is that you? That is the question and going to be the topic for today. Do you have a problem with asking people for help? I'm going to raise my hand first and say that I do, and I did, and I'm working on it. But there's a caveat to that. There's a reason why I have a problem asking people for help. It's because of how and I'm going to say raise myself, because my immediate family don't operate the way that I do. And so I took on the notion, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And so I don't care who it is. If they tell you that I didn't, they're lying to you. But my family didn't have to ask me for anything, because if there was a need and I saw it, I filled it. No matter what it was, I wore many hats. It didn't matter whether I was a babysitter, a cook, a confidant, a problem solver, a bank, And I was under the misguided notion that because I did those things, that if there was ever a time where I needed those things, that it would be reciprocated. And so I didn't feel that I should have to ask people to whom I gave myself to in whatever capacity was needed. I was a mother, I was a grandmother, I was an aunt, I was a niece, I was all of those things. I put stuff together for my family. I cooked Thanksgiving dinners all by myself and all that stuff. And then on this process, on this journey, when God started waking me up to see what was going on, I realized that I wasn't being treated fairly. In actuality, I was in a house full of narcissists that blamed me for everything. I once had someone tell me that I should not have bought their child all the things that I bought them because I outshined him, or I outshined them, because that's been a consensus across the board in my immediate family. I don't know about your family, but I was blamed for doing for my nieces and nephews as if I was trying to one-up their parent, right? Which that did hurt my feelings, because that was never my intention. And then as God started talking to me and I started listening, I realized that was a bunch of bullshit. You tried to gaslight me because you didn't have a job, the baby mama didn't have a job, and there was no money coming in. So the fact that I bought shoes and I bought what she needed, and he told me that I should not have bought all those things. I should have just brought him a little bit. I should have just bought them a little bit instead of just outshining. That's bullshit. And I almost succumbed to that shit. But no. So in that sense, I had a problem with asking people for help, because I felt like I shouldn't have to. Y'all didn't ask me for help. And when you did ask, I still did for you. But you didn't have to ask me for help, because I did it because there was a need. And they used me because of that. They used my heart. They used my heart to get over on me, to cipher money from me, to play on my heartstrings when it came to their children. And I have a soft spot for children. Always have. But now, I don't have a problem. I mean, let me not lie, because it still does something to me that I gotta ask somebody who I've helped their whole fucking life for help. When they see me, they clearly see me, but they want me to ask them for help. And I guess I'm going to assume that God is humbling me in this aspect, because I actually do need the help. And they watching me. So I have to, not going to say swallow my pride, but I have to adjust my perception and not look at it, well, hell, why I got to ask you when you ain't never had to ask me? That's going backwards. So I talk to my inner self. I talk to my ego, because that's what the problem is. My ego's like, what the fuck? You ain't had to ask when you was doing this and doing that and doing this and doing birthday parties and doing this and cooking Thanksgiving dinner and all that shit and all by yourself and didn't ask nobody for money for the food. But I digress. And so in this moment where I have no job, I have no car, and I have no money to call my own or even a place, I do have to humble myself, humble my ego, and ask for help. And that is okay. That doesn't make me less than. That doesn't make me lazy. That doesn't make me wasteful. So, if you are struggling with asking people for help, let me say, if you are struggling with asking the right people for help, take it from a person who has never had to ask for help. It's a very humbling experience, but God is just allowing us to see what the other side looks like and to humble us, because we've never had to ask for anything. We've always been able to provide for ourselves or get it how we want to, you know? Always have. And I've never had to degrade myself to get it. And that's your perception. Whatever degrading means for you is what I mean. But it made me feel weakened that I had to ask people that I helped. I'm not asking no stranger. I'm not asking, people that I've never done for. These are people that I did for them and their children. And it still makes me feel a certain kind of way that they watch me and will not offer the help. And I'm okay with that, because I know my next life, this paradigm shift, that I'm a little wiser, a little more discerning, and that I get to pick and choose the people that will surround me during this cycle of my life. I get to choose them. The people that were around me during this phase of my life, I didn't choose them. I mean, I chose them, but no, really I didn't. The cracked foundation that I was raised upon in a narcissistic house, and then meeting a narcissistic man, not knowing he was an undercover narcissist and that he was doing black magic, like some serious work that had my body all confused, had my damn brain all confused, my emotions, everything. This book is going to be something serious, because I literally was a participant, but I was a willing participant. It's kind of weird to say, because it went against who I was as a person. And had I known anything about spirituality and black magic and the effects, I would have instantly known what was going on, and I would have been able to protect myself. But hindsight is always 20/20. And I know now. And so I am definitely protecting my energy, because for too long I allowed people to take advantage of me, not believing that they would, because I'm not taking advantage of you. And the last one to fall off, I can't even say she didn't know, because she knew who I was before I did. And that's okay. That's quite okay, because thanks to her and her family, I know what to look out for, and I know what to take notice of, because I watched for so long. Even when early on in there, I did a past life regression, and in one of them, it tells you how you died. And it said that I was going to be betrayed by a friend. And at the time, there was only one friend in my life. one person I considered a friend. But come to find out, they were just ciphering my energy, my currency, my money to fuel their own endeavors. And this is someone I never would have thought. And I'm like, hey, calling their family. But I've always done that. I've adopted other people's family. And so, yeah, because I treated them like family, I felt that they would do the same. But when you're on this spiritual journey, you have got to be more careful than any time in your life. When you sleep, you cover, you're a fool. But when you are awakened, you have got to be more careful, because there are going to be people that use your ignorance against you. And that is a dangerous game, because you don't know what type of spirits they're dealing with. You don't know what type of magic they're doing. You don't even know if they're coming from a pure-hearted place. I thought the people around me were coming from a pure-hearted place, that we were on this path together, but that was not the truth. That wasn't the truth. They took my ideas that I said I was going to do, not faulting them. They actioned the ideas that I said. Let me not say took. Because they can't take my ideas. That's the thing. And I'm going to have a whole nother conversation about that, because I have ideas. Other people get ideas. And it's okay that they get their ideas from me. But the fact that I have ideas, they're embedded in me. They're part of my DNA. God gives me ideas. Yeshua gives me ideas. And other people get their ideas from me. And that's okay. I'm learning to work through that. Because it doesn't matter if you get the idea from me. You can't do it how I'm going to do it. Namaste. So yeah, that's just another struggle that I'm, dealing with. Because I am one of the ones that would have popped off. I would have said something. I would have jumped bad. But I don't want to be in that energy no more. You know why? Because it's self-defeating. And it's not self-serving. It's actually counteractive and counterproductive to what I want to do and where I'm trying to go. Where I want to go. Where I am going, and where God is always leading me. I've been on this path. And it just so happened that the man that I met while I was in my early 20s and hadn't had a real relationship, just understand how green I am, or I was. I was 25 years old, hadn't had a real relationship. Last relationship I had, I was like 16, 17. And so this man I met knew about the twin flame journey, knew about spirituality and everything. Went to school for it. Went to a seminary school, y'all. And all the while was using it against me. But he knew I was his twin flame. And he manipulated that connection. Which, Lord have mercy. I was literally in the dark. But I was awake. I wasn't awoke, but I was awake. It was like sleepwalking. And now that I look back on it and the things that I did and that were a part of my makeup, it makes it brings a different understanding to it. I hope you guys can hear me. Hold on. Let me roll up one of these windows. So it was like I was sleepwalking, but I was still active. And this person and the energy and the spirit that embodied him was mad at me, was pissed off at my feminism, at everything I stood for. Everything I stood for. He was upset about it. told me about it. Didn't tell me anything. And then come to find out, his baby mama is a freaking vampire. That's what I'm going to call her. Because she had him fucked up in the head. And because I had unprotected sex with him, his spirit transferred to my body and had me going crazy. Simply because I was independent. Always wanted love. Always wanted a family. And this person robbed me of that time frame. Robbed me. But I'm not going to worry about it. You know why? Because God says, Yeshua says, Jesus said, that everything that the enemy stole from me, I'm going to get back. And I'm standing on that word. So, mark my words, on this day, March the 7th, at 12:48 p.m., I am a 45-year-old woman. Had a miscarriage 4 years ago. Never had any children. Always wanted them. Wanted my husband and all that stuff. Since I was little, I've dreamed about having 5 children. Always wanted a big family. I don't have those things right now. But watch, family. Watch how God blesses me. And it will be a miracle on so many levels, and not just because I'm 45 years old. It will definitely be a miracle, and I'm here for it. So, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay when you need it. But understand that along this journey, there's going to be a season where ain't nobody gonna be able to help. And it's designed that way. So you can lean on God and get to know Him more. He will never let you go without. Never let you go without. And I thank Him. I thank Him. I thank Him. I thank her. I thank them. I thank everything in my life that has brought me to this point. I really do. Everybody's path is unique, guys. Everybody's path is unique. And it is an individual path on purpose. I was trying to bring everybody along with me. Come on, girl, let's go. We can do this. Individuality. Something serious. Discernment, prayer, and don't be ashamed to ask for help. Namaste, love, peace, and light.